All right, peace, peace. What up? It's your boy Rashid Amir.
And it's Empress Yibo.
You are now watching No Country for Small Talk. Today we got one of the legends, one of the gods in the building. We got none other than Sadat X.
Peace, people, peace. What's good?
If you don't know about this brother, you Google him, you're gonna find a lot of interesting, fascinating facts and whatnot. This is one of the members of Brand Nubian. It's a wild cowboy. This is Sadat X. It's all
Yes, sir.
the names and everything and your list and your catalog goes on, man. And I just want to say, first and foremost, just thank you for being a part of this.
Yeah, so you have the perfect hat on today, legend.
Oh yeah, no doubt. I'm trying to be. No question.
Absolutely.
So how's life, man? How's everything with you?
I mean, it's good, man. You know, I'm trying to adapt to these times right now. We're living through strange times. You know what I'm saying? This is going to be 30 years from now. This is going to be a period of time. So I'm just trying to, maintain myself. Still come out of this ahead. You know what I'm saying? Not let this be a complete setback. You know what I'm saying? Just adjust and still keep my motion going.
You not even you in different spots and whatnot now.
I'm in Carolina now. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So how's that adjustment? That's because not only did you not here, yet also in a different spot. Then the Rona and all that shit. So it's like, how's I guess it's the same. You're just trying your best, or
well, my people's is from down here, so I've always been coming down here back and forth throughout my whole life. Me actually living down here, it's been a month now, and it's been good, man. I do miss New York. I miss the hustle and bustle all the time, but the peacefulness, I guess, at that point in my life, I needed a break so I can, kind of recharge, as far as everything, life, music, and everything. It's giving me a peace of mind, a clear head. I feel I'm writing some good stuff right now, and, just a little peacefulness right now.
Nice. I was just going to actually ask, what are you doing to kind of take care of yourself with everything going on? I know you mentioned writing, but anything else you're doing to kind of keep focused, because this quarantine feels like it's going on forever?
Well, I'm trying to stay healthy. I'm trying to physically keep myself right. You know what I'm saying? Mentally, I'm still trying to elevate. I'm working. I do have a job right now. I'm working in the hospital, so that's been a different thing. We lost a lot of shows due to this summer. Like, usually for artists like myself, summertime, we usually do a lot of stuff in the States, and then Europe, all the festivals and stuff like that. So, it's been sort of an adjustment.
yeah, and like I know I've asked a few other people that's been on here, like, and being an artist myself, like, just trying to, just figure and get a gauge on how things are going to be, because we really don't know. I remember when the virus first, came about, and we was hearing everything like, oh, it's going on in China. And it was one of those things to me. I was like, damn, I felt for them. But I was like, it's not going to come here. So it didn't it didn't hit my, my mind like that. I was like, yo, damn, that's fucked up what's going on in China.
Yeah, man, it's
when
like,
it started coming here. It's like, oh, shit. You know what I mean? Like, it's
crazy, man, because like the same thing, man, like you actually seen this progress. You know what I'm saying? You seen it go from there's something going on over there to, I think it was in Washington State. Then it started spreading, man, and it was like, damn, man, like, you start to get realistic about it, like, yo, this thing can reach out here, and sure enough, it did. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely, man, like, caught everybody off guard, no question.
Wow.
Yeah, but I guess it's like, do you see, and with no way of really knowing how, like, do you think things would be better for an artist, let's say this time in the year, within a year's time, or, we just gotta, see what the fuck happens, pretty much?
I think, man, judging to where it is now, because like I was supposed to go to Europe, they talking about the earliest possible for us to go back is like April.
Wow.
So judging from that, like, it's no telling how long it's going to be, man. I think it's going to be here for definitely a prolonged period. And I'm thinking now, like, at this point, artists, they got to start thinking of alternative ways to start getting that music out and start, keeping your stride going. I think this virtual thing, that's going to become more into play now, as we see, it's a lot more people on Zoom now doing what they got to do. I think that's going to probably, we're going to force to be into that next wave.
The initial idea for this podcast was we supposed to get with a few people, gather around, play some cards, play some dominoes, shit like that.
Yeah.
But ain't nobody trying to be, in a restaurant or at somebody's crib or anything like that all together, and you don't want to do it with the mask.
Yeah.
So it's like a gift and a curse. It's like it's a gift because I could get with you and you down south, I'm up there. But the gift of it is like, hey, I can get with you. It's not like, we gotta wait until our schedules is all right for anybody to be in the same spot. So it's like, the way I see it, it's kind of like, it's as when you do music, when you're a creative period and you do art, it's like, it's really no stopping us. You just gotta find how to adjust to it. As with other people, it's like shit. When it stops, it stops. Like
I know a lot of writers, a lot of rappers, that they kind of stuck right now. But then I know other writers that said this was the period that gave them a time to recharge and really refocus on things. Definitely, I feel like coming out of this, a lot of the rappers, you're gonna have to start saying something now because like it wasn't this period of like some rappers like busting down a whole bunch of bottles and flying all over the place. Like, nah, that wasn't this period. Like, a lot of people now is getting ready to struggle and are struggling, where you're gonna have to address that point at some point because a lot of people's not gonna want to hear something that didn't happen, that they know didn't happen. You understand? It's always been an element of that in rap, but at this point, that a lot of that stuff didn't happen. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. And I agree with you. It's kind of like a sink or swim time. Like when you come out of it, you can't bluff it. People want to know the real for real what was going on. So
exactly,
very, very true.
And that kind of steers to this. Like you come from the era where like late 80s, early 90s. You know how the scene was. It was very Afrocentric. People were very. It was just cultures all over the place.
Yeah.
With the medallions and this, that, and people's wearing dashikis. I'm wearing one right now.
That's right.
Do you see, like, because of everything, not even just, with the virus, but with George Floyd, with all the police brutality, that it's kind of like steering back towards what it was at that time, where everybody's kind of trying to be conscious.
Definitely. At that time, back then, it was a period of strife. You understand? Like, I remember in New York, like you had the Crown Heights thing that happened out in Crown Heights, and the young boy that got hit out there in Queens. Like it was a period of time when it was similar to this in a way. And then you had a lot of movies that was coming out. Like Spike was throwing out a lot of movies, so it was definitely a cultural awareness. You understand? And that was like those movies and seeing that was the social media basically. You know what I'm saying? We didn't have IG and all this, so that's how that was spreading around. This era, we do have the the Instagram and everything, all the media outlets to see it, man. It's just like let me see what I can say. It's like we're more aware of what really never left. You know what I'm saying? Like now we had a sudden awakening because of the blatantness of it, and I think that's all leads to the leadership of this country. You understand? When you see the leadership is gearing one way, that makes an element of people feel they can do whatever they want to. They like, if this person is talking about this and that, I can go do this and I might can get away with this. You understand? Down here, they had at one of the schools down here, the kids had a play, like a play, I guess a historic play and everything else. And they had a slavery scene, and they actually had the little black kids playing slaves. And I'm like, and in this time, like something, especially coming from an educator, something in your mind had to tell you, I can get away with this. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel I can get away with this. The way the country is going, I feel I might can slip this in and then explain it in some roundabout way. You know what I'm saying? So it's definitely, it's back around now. You understand? Magnum force. This time it's magnified.
Yeah. And I think people that are in that thought frame to even do a play like that, to think it's okay, will show themselves. Like people aren't trying to, people are showing who they are for who they are, right? Those people that like the implicit bias is there, like as well as explicit. Like people are saying, this is who I am, I don't care, you know. And I feel like people that are trying to be quote unquote woke are finding out more information about themselves. I mean, I give credit to the 80s and 90s hip hop for paving the way to where we are now, because I think we would have been lost if we didn't have that, you know, sense of direction.
Yeah, now a lot of these kids, especially the kids that I taught in my class back then, now they can see like, this was what Mr. Murphy was talking about. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is like, anytime you feel you can go amongst a group of different people and actually tell them, yo, you got to move and take all this somewhere else. Something is giving you a battery in your back. Something is pushing you to feel like I can go across the street and tell all these black people and say all types of crazy stuff, and it's all cool. You know what I'm saying? That's the climate that we're in right now.
It's like you've seen the amount of videos that will pop up of just them bugging out. But you know what's funny? Every time I've seen somebody give off that type of energy, I always looked at it as like something's not right up there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like you ever just study how they just, it's like even the shorty that was screaming on homie in the park after he told her to put the leash on her dog. It was like, yo, it's like, it's always the same vibe I get from him. Yeah. It's not, I'm putting all my personal feelings aside. I'm just looking at it like, yo, these motherfuckers is not okay.
For real, like it's crazy, man. You look at it and you be like, yo, something is really the matter with her, man. And it's like in the mind, but like I said, it's part of them feeling they can actually get away with shit like that. Like something is giving you even if your mind is off, something is telling you it's okay for me to do this. Yeah. You understand? And like, it's always happened, but like we see one case, then we see another case, then it's like, it's popping up all over, man. And it's like, you feel you could just say anything to do anything to a people. And eventually, like, I don't know, like I don't have the answer, but eventually it's gonna come to a head. You understand what I'm saying? It's gonna come to a head.
I say, to me, and I could be wrong, what could be the very last straw is if once it gets around to convictions, and if the convictions don't fit what they should be getting, or if they don't even get convicted, which is not crazy because we know the history of that, where a lot of cops have been just set free. Like in Breonna Taylor's case, they're not even arrested. You know what I mean? So it's like, all we need is in Ahmaud Arbery's case, in George Floyd's case, and whoever's got these cases going on, like let these motherfuckers get off. Yeah, we're going to see a war, because at this point we're getting tired of it. You know, some people are going to be like off this side, like, yo, that's what they do. It's going to be a big group that's going to be like, nah. If you keep thinking that, or if we keep, we got to do something to change the narrative at some point, because it's sad.
And it's crazy, not to cut you off, but like, it's going to be the young people that set off, because see, a lot of the young people, they kind of seeing this for the first time. Like a lot of the young people, when I talk to them, it went in one ear and out the other ear. So to a lot of these young people, this is some new shit to them. And they're like, yo, like, what's this? And they temperament, the way of these kids, a lot of these young bulls' temperament is not going to be able to, handle that. And it's like, I love the young bulls. I love them to death. We just got to find a way somehow to kind of channel that energy, because I don't want them to get hurt. You know what I'm saying? Because those are the young boys, they fly off the handle. You know what I'm saying? I come from the era, I tell them all the time, it wasn't no cameras everywhere. You know what I'm saying? These young boys fly off the handle and all of it zone out, where they don't remember that it's all this technology right here. You understand? And that's where we got to kind of corral them at.
I was going to say, actually, it's interesting that you mentioned that, because it's not that this stuff is new. This stuff has been happening all the time. Like, these aren't new stories. They're just documented stories. That's the only difference, like Scott Heron said, the revolution wouldn't be televised. Now it is. It's on live, like for real. So now you see IG live, Facebook, like it's in your face, Exactly. And you have to channel that energy toward the change, not just towards
because they starting to see They're starting to see like, yo, something, this ain't good, and they starting to feel mad. I see the climate of these young boys, man. I just tell them, be careful, be knowledgeable, know and understand. I tell them justice is a reward or penalty for one way in action. So remember that. Well, understand, I'm with you 100%, but know and understand what you do. There's ramifications behind it. You understand? Be smart, knowledgeable is what I'm trying to tell them.
Because they don't want them to bait you into doing something that they'll be more prepared than us unless we start getting to a point where we start strategizing, not just acting all the time, but really figuring out a course of action. Even if we want to say we at war, you're not going to just rush on in, right? You know, because they're going to get you. They're going to be like, these dudes just rushing in. But if you start strategizing and saying, this is how we got to talk, this is what we have to do for ourselves, of course, it's the first reaction is to just go out there and then act out. But it's like you said, they're watching everything, they're seeing everything.
Waiting for you to fuck up. It's our unification, man. Like, I don't know how we're going to do it, but some way, we got to get unified somehow. You understand? Some way, because I one day I was thinking, I was like, well, damn. And just in New York, the Knights of Columbus, that's an Italian organization. They don't have no black dudes on their board. When they have their stuff, they don't have, and that's their thing. And that's the Knights of Columbus, that's what they do.
Right.
Whenever the Jews go out, nothing against the Jews, you don't see no brothers on their board and this and that and making decisions and all. And then the same with the Chinese community, a lot of time with the Latin community. Our stuff, for whatever reason, and a lot of people say, well, we don't have the means to fund it, so we have to let people in who can help fund it. But I tell them, a lot of times when you do that, when somebody is funding and putting some money in, they start off light. They'll make a suggestion. Yo, I think you should do that. Yo, I think you should do that. But if they put the money in and they don't like the direction, the way things is going, that's when they start making the heavy-handed things out. Like, yo, this is what y'all gonna do. This is what y'all gonna do. Now it's watered down. Now it ain't how we started out. So we got to find a way somehow to unify. We got to find a way to, I guess, to get the funds to do it, because as long as we splinter groups, man, it's gonna always be like guerrilla tactics.
Do you think it may have something to do with slavery? With separating us, number one, putting us together with people that we either might have conflict with or didn't know each other's language, didn't know each other's way. So we, might come, especially in this country, from a place of, just kind of being used to getting with the groups that made you feel comfortable within your own.
That's a big part. That I think a lot of times segregation and the way they portrayed it. Whenever you see segregation, you always see the bad things we had, the bad schools and the bad hospitals. I have to explain to these kids, we had great schools too. We had great schools. We had great teachers. We had great high schools. We had great educated, great stores. Now, when they separated us now, sometimes that created and they separated us. Now we can go to this store, that store. When we start going to the stores we used to go to with the brothers, now we going in with a changed mind. Man, let me see what this nigga gonna do. He probably gonna have some, here we go with this nigga. We start getting that mentality, man. We got away from the love for us. We forgot we could do things. We forgot we was the people in Africa who had indoor plumbing and indoor bathrooms and made the pyramids that they can't figure out now. We forgot that teaching, man. We let it became a mind fuck where we let that permeate through generation.
You got the one group that's saying, slavery is over, this and that was that. And I'm like, well, granted, slavery is over, but the civil rights era wasn't that long ago.
No, it wasn't.
When you keep saying, it's like, well, if somebody is 68, 69, they probably lived through that era. And exactly. if they still here, it's not that long ago. If they're 115 and died, but it wasn't that long ago. It almost was like it was yesterday, and we're still going through a lot of this stuff from that. But I just also don't think
people from there. I'm 51 years old. I was born in 68. In 64, 65, we was just being able to really vote. You understand? To vote, really vote. We were still getting. We still are now, but it was mass lynchings and stuff like that, 3 years before I was born. You understand? So that's going to take a little while to go away. That's been less than 100 years. You know what I'm saying? It's going to take a while for that whole mind frame to be erased.
And again, I know some people might use it as a crutch. But I also don't think, despite all of that, it should be used as, this is why I'm not getting ahead. It's like, well, if you're not doing anything in your life, you know how is that our peoples that always complain about the white man or this and this. Like, but if you're not doing anything to actively change not only your situation, but situation for your people, and you just want to complain and use slavery and civil rights era as a crutch, that's when it's wrong. But at the same time, once you have the state of mind where you could, like, you know, say we could elevate, we just know that it's going to be hardships, but you're not forgetting your past. That's the difference. Like, no matter what, you let anything stop you from making your movements and empowering your people. Yeah, we definitely got to cut the bullshit. You understand? We have to, man. It's like, you know, not for nothing, you know, like it was a horrible thing what happened to the Jews. But the Jews, one thing about them, they say never forget, but they still move on. They still, you know, regardless of how they do it, some of the tactics I don't like, some of them, I'm not racist against them, but they don't never let that. That's their motto, never forget. You understand? They tell their kids never forget, and that's their motivation to build. You know what I'm saying? They don't particularly, and however they do it, good or bad tactics, they still doing, like, somehow, like you said, man, like, and I don't know what it's going to take. Like, that's the thing. I really don't know the answer. Like, I tell people, like, it's going to start with your own family. You understand? It's got to start with you, whoever. If it's the woman that's the head of the household, if the man is there, you got to instill that type of thinking into your square. You understand? Because if your square don't have that, you know what I'm saying? That's where you got to have that in your square. So when they go out, they can spread it. You understand? It's crazy. I tell, you know, like, so I tell these young boys when I was teaching, man, I said, yo, you can do anything, man. It's your mind. Yeah, we had setbacks. We always had setbacks, but we always had people who got around that. Look around there. We wasn't always like that. And true, I came from project settings and this and that. And there's nothing wrong with that, like I say, either. But if you aspire to do something, you can do something. Even through this period right here, if you aspire to do something and still, okay, this is a roadblock. What's my next plan of attack? To me, it's like we just never agree on shit. Yeah, that's our biggest problem. We never agree. We always, it's always like, I could use a Kanye for example. You know, just 'cause, I mean, I love the brother, but I don't agree with the brother. But that's my brother. You know what I'm saying? I will probably never agree with his politics, but at the end of the day, I'm not going to crucify the man. Oh, no, definitely not. You know what I mean? But then you got the other side that say all these types of things, you know, and agreeing with him. Then you got the people that are saying, you know, the reasons why they don't, and kind of trying to, you know, call him against who he is as a man and who he is as a black person. Exactly. Just even with stuff like that as an example of just, like, everybody doesn't, you know, has different opinions, but I just feel with us, we always we're at each other's necks and throats the most. And I'm like, why? Because no, they don't do that in other, like you're saying, they don't do a lot of shit we do, they don't go through that in other cultures. Exactly.
But I feel like it needs to be a certain baseline too. Like, we can't get caught up with every single idea. We can't agree on everything, right? But if we agree on a few things, that's enough to make movements. Like you said, like, never forget, right? That by itself is enough as a framework to move forward. Exactly. Like with George Floyd, everyone felt the same kind of anger. Like, literally, I didn't need to see the whole full video. I was angry enough and mad enough to do what I had to do, which was necessary, right? But I feel like we just need those baselines, whatever it is, those few baselines to move forward. It doesn't have to be a complete checklist, you know? So yeah, I feel you on that. And like you said, like, we got a hard time agreeing. We got a hard time understanding who's going to lead. And that's the first thing, like we got to change the mental where we don't even go into it like that. Like, sometimes we go into it like that. Like, we go into the situation with a bad mind frame. You understand? Not even open-minded to listen. We already have picked sides or picked an opinion. Like, somehow we got to get our thinking better. And unfortunately, you know, it's going to take things that's happening
to bring it around. You understand? People is like, well, we should be doing that now. Yo, we've been through a lot of stuff, and it's gonna take some time with us. You understand? It's gonna take some time. We got a lot of different people. We got a lot of minds. We got a lot of different personalities. We got a lot of stuff to corral to get into one frame. You understand? And we work into it. It might not happen in my lifetime. It just might not happen. But if we can get a little bit better than we are right now in my lifetime, and then my daughter and them can carry it, because if you look at a lot of civilizations, the change took hundreds of years. You understand? It don't. Sometimes it might not happen in the 10 years or this or that. But if we can start changing, I think this right here is going to be the start of a mind change right now. It had to start somewhere. You understand? Fortunately, these times is pushing it to start, but it has to be a ground zero to start from. You understand? And I think this may be part of the new start.
I mean, I hope so. And I think that's the thing too about being black is that there's no real, when they say, dressing black, acting black, it's like, well, what is that?
Yeah.
We did, like I said, that might be why it's going to take a while, because there's so many different facets of who we are as a people that you can't pinpoint and say this is how you should be, and that's like, how many different types of black people there are.
Exactly.
Types of mindsets. It's a little different, and I can't speak for white people like that, but I can only assume that the reason why there might be a bit more of a generalization was because of how they were brought up, as far as how they, even though they think of a whole lot of different stuff too. I just think the difference is the privilege allows them to, the opinions mean a little bit different in their communities and to the world than ours do. Like a lot of times we had to kind of just deal with shit just to get by. And then that forms opinions and forms a way of thinking and how people are, you know what I mean? So,
yeah, that forms a whole lifestyle. Yeah. Doing what we do to get by, and then privilege, those are two totally different things. When you have privilege, you can afford sometimes the trial and error and do what you want to. But when it's our way, sometimes, hey, I got to do what I got to do. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's a little different.
Exactly. And then you know how we are with ourselves, and the judgment a lot of times I feel comes from our community, sometimes more than it does from other places, and that comes from us not it comes from what we said before, the slavery, all that shit. Like, we're so used to being separate in thought and just in feeling and everything, and just how we dress, because we all don't dress the same, we all don't act, we don't listen to the same music. I know people that would dress like us and talk like us that don't really listen to hip hop.
Yeah.
Like, and they, it's just the way that who they grew up around is why they talk a certain way, but they don't really fuck with it. They might listen to jazz, but they don't listen to hip hop.
Yeah, it's been, and it's crazy, man, because they've taken so much. We made rock music. We dressed rock music first, but to look at it, you would never know that. You understand? You would think it was these dudes that came out with the leather jackets first and this and that. They just copied what we was doing. You understand? It's yeah, man. Like we accomplished so much. It's crazy, definitely.
Yeah, but with that, I mean, it's with growth, right, and moving forward. We don't want to keep you too long, but we have to pay forward, right? That's the point of everything with upward movement, is to pay forward. So what's some of the things you're doing right now to kind of pay forward? We know that, you had a huge impact on the culture. So what are you doing now? I know you said that you're writing.
Well, I'm doing a lot of writing, and that's another good reason why I'm tied down here now, because it's giving me a chance to separate myself from a lot of the elements that and not to say it was bad elements, but I needed a new change. I needed to restart my mind. This is giving me a fresh perspective of what to write on. You understand? Now, like at one point, like when I'm writing now to what I was writing then, I looked at myself for 1 second and be like, I'm back to writing some meaningful stuff instead of just writing rhyme, just rapping. You understand? It's a difference between just rapping and writing something meaningful. You understand? And that's now, like, I'm back to to writing to teach. You understand? Because that's what I'm doing. I'm writing to teach. I'm working now, so I am, legitimately trying to make an income. I have a daughter on the way. She'll be here on September 28th. So I'm trying.
Congratulations.
You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to make sure, when she come into this world, I'm physically and mentally right. You understand? Because if I'm gonna implement what I want to do, I got to be right first. Yeah. I can't not be right and try to teach somebody. So this period right here is just giving me a time, man, to mentally get myself back together, physically, to start looking at, it's made me start looking at health issues. Am I doing all I can to stay around? You know what I'm saying? I'm saying I'm going to go get these vitamins or this fruit, but am I going to get it? You know what I'm saying? Now I'm going to get it. Unfortunately, just had to do it, but it's made me get back on my square.
Yeah, I feel you about like this. My wife over here been getting on me for probably like forever, but most recently I'm like, yo, getting older. I got a daughter too.
Health as well.
You got a family, and even for yourself, it's like I always say. I haven't seen too many, especially when it comes to hip hop artists. Just haven't seen too many of us get older, because you always turn around and be like, "Yo, 60 something." They be like, "Damn!" So I don't usually hear nobody get to 80 because it's that young. The culture's still
exactly.
that young.
It's still growing, definitely.
But it's like I want to be a part of that wave of people that just for the generations to come, is be like, yo, we could be health conscious and we could check ourselves. That doesn't feel right, go get that shit checked out, because
exactly
that could be that thing that they be like, yo, it keeps coming back. That could be the thing that gets you later on.
Yeah.
And then you're like, damn, why not go and just be more conscious and go get my shit checked out?
And
early,
And unfortunately, man, like that's one thing with the brothers, like I've been guilty of it in the past. We're like, we don't want to go to the doctor. You understand? We don't want to we like, yo, man, I'm gonna make my mix. I'm gonna do what I do, and I'm gonna be all right. But like we definitely got a health check, get ourselves. And I'm not saying to that doctor. I'm saying to some of our people who are knowledgeable on things, knowledgeable on different roots and things like that. Like, got to get to those people. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting back to that, man, because like you said, man, we are getting older. Hip hop is getting older, and every year we starting to lose one or two. You understand? We losing one or two to various reasons. I want to be here. You understand? That's why this period has definitely opened my eyes, made me become more conscious, made me see maybe I'm not doing some of the things I'm supposed to be doing, or I'm just taking a lot of things for granted. You understand? I've taken a lot of things for granted, compromise, where it's no more compromise. These times don't allow for a compromise no more. You understand? Now I got to be 100% on my square.
I love that. And as you said, it starts with the home and the family and self, right? Mm-hmm. Taking care of self, and then you can reflect out and do what you have to do. Any projects that you're specifically working on right now that you want to share with us?
I just finished the project that I did with Aguilar. Adolf the Assassin Aguilar. I'm good on that project. I feel good with that because that was one of the projects where I sat down and wrote. You understand? Instead of, this is something I got to do a quick 16 for. Like this past year, I've been writing. Like I want it to be catered. I don't want somebody to hear this and be like, well, I could have threw that on this one or that one or that one. I wanted to be like, he made this just for that. You understand? So I've been trying to get my mind back in tune, catering to the music, because that's one of the things that's kept me here that long. You understand? I still do the music because I love it. I work, but I still love the music. You understand what I'm saying? And that's keeping me going.
Good.
Word, man, word. I know she gets this, she has these certain set of questions that she asks.
Yeah, no problem.
Just today. The last time when we did a song together for my album, you was doing your thing. I just got there and we was moving around. I never got to ask you this in person. I'm gonna ask you now because Biggie was one of my favorite artists. Yeah. Period. And I know you've been asked this before, but I've never.
It's cool, no problem.
I just want to know, like, how did that process go? Because that's also, besides Biggie being my favorite artist, that song, just with y'all doing that, was just one of my it was actually one of my most surprising things when I saw the name and everything. I was like, that's gonna be interesting to see how that shit's gonna go, because y'all styles are so different.
I tell you what, first off, you know, Puff, at the time I was living in New Rochelle, which, if you know, New Rochelle and Mount Vernon is right next to each other. Right. So if you from New Rochelle and you going to parties in New Rochelle and Mount Vernon, you gonna run into each other. I have been running into Puff since high school. You understand? So I've been running into him since high school. Then when he was in Howard, I was down in DC for a while. And basically, you know, we saw his rise and what he was doing. Biggie came out, and I got a call from him, and he was like, yo, I got a new artist, Biggie Smalls. He coming out, he got some fire. He said, you one of his favorite rappers. You my man. I want y'all to do a joint. So I'm like, all right, cool. I get to the studio. Now, Big is in there, you know, Lil C's is there, Mark the Spark is there. I think Tracy Waples was there, a couple other people. And, you know, we smoked, we drank, we chopped it up. Then Lord Finesse did the original beat, Lord Finesse, put the beat on. And then, you know, I immediately go to my pen and pad. You know, I'm on my pen and pad, and I'm looking at Big, and Big is just sitting there, and he's mumbling to himself. He get up, he walk around the room. Next thing I know, he's like, yo, I'm ready. And I'm like, damn, like, I got to step mine up, because I'm like, yo, I thought I was a fast writer. Big done got something in his mind. I hear him mumbling. He goes into the booth. I got 7 Mac 11s, about 838. So I was like, oh my goodness. I heard that. I was like, it's on from there. And if I remember right, like, it wasn't no second take. Like, he went in there and knocked that down. Like, all right, went in there. Within about maybe 3-4 minutes, he was done. Now it was up to me. I gotta step mine up. Like, that was one of the first times I felt pressed right. And I was like, damn, I'm pressed right now. But that was good though. Like, fun-loving dude, joking, you know, on the road, doing a lot of stuff. And what was ill though, man? Like, you know, like, I remember he was beefing with Pac, and we seen Pac one time. And, you know, we you know, talking with Pac, you know, this neck, 'cause Pac was at Diamond's crib one time. They was doing some stuff, and I would see him, you know, occasionally. And I never really got too deep into their situation. But I was like, yo, man, like, dudes love you, son. Like, you know, I don't know what you got going on. I'm not even gonna get into it like that. But don't let nothing derail what the love is, man. Like, it's love, man. Like, and, you know, for them when they was going back and forth, man, that really hurt me, because I knew both of them. And I remember seeing both of them together. So I was like, damn, man, like, to see it fall out like that, man, was such a crushing thing, man. You know, like, because like I said, man, Big sat there and just breezed through that, man. His artistry was unparalleled.
Yeah, that Big's actually one of the reasons why I try always to write that same way, like, try to just keep it in my head. And it's not always easy, but once you get the feel of that shit and it just comes to you and you get used to it, it's a different process.
Yeah, sometimes I do that, like, if I'm writing or if I'm doing something, like, it's kind of a thought process in my head, and it's bugged out that I'm able to do it. If I can remember what my first word is in a rhyme and my last word, a lot of times later on, I'll remember, it'll come to me what I had in the middle. You understand? Like, it's bugged out. Like, and then a lot of times, the way I write, it comes out so sporadical and this and that, because that's how the thoughts is coming in my head. Sometimes they come in bursts, like boom, 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 like lightning strikes. And I'm writing. You should see some of the papers that I have. It's just writing like the Rain Man. Then, like, I'm trying to write it as fast as it's coming in my head. That's why sometimes it come out. Some of it don't rhyme. Some of it, you know, falls off. I just know how to catch it in the frame. You know what I'm saying? I know it's long. 1, 2, 3, 4. I got to catch it in here. No matter what I say, how fast I say, it got to come into this frame.
I was about to say that's why, because you know Sadat's style is one of the most unique styles in the history of the game, and it's like all right, so that's why your shit sounds like
now
that.
You see like how it comes like that sometimes.
Yeah, but you know what? It's from everything that you've been on, from and all your collaborations and your features, like 199 and joint with Big and all the Brand Nubian stuff. It's like what makes you stand out in the game is just your style, your voice, and the way your delivery comes across. And it's like, it's almost kind of like an ODD type thing. It's like, I don't really hear nobody else but you when I hear you. You know what I mean? I can't say, oh, that dude's, he reminds, it's like, nah, it's Sadat X, it's Sadat X, and that's it. You know what I mean?
That's what I tell a lot of the young boys, because man, when I taught in the schools, I'm a people person, so I'm in front of the store. Like a lot of time I tell a lot of the brothers, a lot of the older brothers, listen, when you out in the store and you see a whole bunch of the young brothers in the front and you coming in, they looking at you, you looking at them. I say something, what's up, fellas? Y'all good today? This and that. A lot of times they just want to see your angle. And I tell people, if I can't talk to my young brothers, they me back then I can't talk to nobody. These is the dudes that I got to be able to reach. I tell them sometimes, I used to rhyme in the group Brand Nubian, this and that. Check it out one day. Then I'll come back to the store 2 weeks later and they'll be like, yo, OG, I went online.
They like pump shit up to get beat down or some shit, right?
It's just sometimes breaking the ice with them, man. That's what we got to do with the Bulls. Break the ice, man, because they so used to it being such a tense situation all the time. Hey, fellas, y'all all right? Y'all good? Be careful out here. A lot of time, 99% of the time, all right, OG, this and that. Them the same dudes that, yo, OG, move your car. The police is over here.
Word.
OG, those be the same dudes that look out. Yo, OG, it's getting ready to go down over here. Go over there, man, because those be the same people that look out for you, man. If I can't love my brothers, I can't love nobody.
If you what would you say is one of your favorite verses that you ever done ever, if you can remember it?
Let me see. It probably would be off of oh man, that's a good one. Maybe off one of the Sean Price joints or one of the
Sean Price.
It's so many. I can't even pick one out, man. It's just been so many over the years, man. Some of they change and become my favorite year after year.
All right, I'll bother you about that later. So, this is a few questions. Usually, as she said earlier, that we usually play games or whatever together, but of course, because we're in Zoom, we have to accommodate to the times. So I'll ask you the number. You pick between the numbers 3, 5, and 7.
Pick a number.
Yeah, between 3, 5, and 7.
7.
All right, let's go.
I knew he was gonna go with 7. Yeah. I was like, no, the guy's gonna pick 7.
Who's the best teacher you've ever had?
It had to be Miss Williams. And that was when I was in it was in like 4th grade, and I used to just come and be a class clown and this and that. And like one day she grabbed me and she was like, you know what? Stop acting like a clown. Sit your ass down. And but I wasn't used to that. I was like, oh, like she was like, listen, you understand what you gonna do? What you gonna do in life? And this was like I was in like 4th grade, and I'm like, what I'm gonna do in life? She said, are you gonna make a difference in life, or you just gonna be anybody? And I was like, I'm gonna make a difference. And from that day on, man, I tried to get myself together.
Much love to Miss Williams. Where would you like to travel, or where do you travel most?
I do a lot of traveling overseas, Europe, South America. I would like to be able to get more places in Africa. I've been to Nigeria, and when I went to Nigeria, that was in the early 90s, so they were still having a lot of political strife. It was a government coup when we was over there. So, it wasn't how it is now. I would like to go there, Ghana, different places.
Yes. See, we gotta go. See, that's a common theme. Everyone, motherland is, we gotta go.
That's the next move.
Who do you think is the most inspirational person alive today?
Oh man, that's a good question. The most inspirational, probably my mom's, because of the resiliency that she's done. You know what I'm saying? To keep the household together after my father passed away, to become a homeowner, maintain a home, keep the family together, and just be the word of wisdom for when I fly off the handle, being calm and making me break down the situation until you see what it is. And like they say, a mother loves you when nobody else will.
Absolutely. This is kind of goes back to what we were talking about before. Is justice or forgiveness more important?
Man, I would say, even though I'm a big fan of justice, forgiveness. You understand? Forgiveness, because that's where the start of going up comes from. Forgiveness. I could easily say justice is a reward for your way and penalty. That's in our lessons, in the 5% lesson. It's a reward or penalty for your ways and action. That's your justice. But to forgive is to give a chance to build again. You understand? And I feel that, you know, especially now at this time, we need all of us together. Before we can even start to build again, we got to forgive. Everybody got to be, I forgive you, brother. Forgive me, I forgive you. Now we can make a move. You know what I'm saying? I forgive you. I'm not going to hold it. Justice is a reward penalty for one way in action. Boom, out of the way. We got, at our state, we got to forgive first so we can build.
Absolutely.
True.
If you could have front row seats to any concert, who would you like to see?
Ooh. And it's crazy, like, I would have wanted it to be somebody like James Brown. If James, you know, I wanted to see James. But, damn, that's a hell of a question right there. If I could go to a show right now, who would I want to see? Somebody like, I think I would want to bring out the P-Funk. I want to see the P-Funk live, Parliament Funkadelic. I want to see the spaceship come down. I want to see George Clinton. I want to see all that, no question.
It was mad theatrical.
Yeah.
Yep.
Costumes, all that.
Definitely.
Oh yeah, you know that was a performance for sure.
Definitely.
For sure. Last two questions. What 3 adjectives would your family use to describe you?
Energetic, controversial, and humble. Humble, I think.
Nice. Very powerful 3 adjectives. And finally, what goal would you like to accomplish before the end of this year?
Goals that I would like to accomplish before the end of this year is, first and foremost, being able to witness the birth of my daughter. That's my first and foremost goal. To help complete paying this home off, and rising in my job, because I got a couple of classes and things that I want to take, because see, if I'm at the job now, I got to excel and master the job. You understand? Like that, my thing is, if anything I get into, I try to master it. You know what I'm saying? If I'm working in the hospital now, so I need to know everything about the hospital, everything about different positions, everything about what's going on each floor, what's the protocol. So mastering my job so I can rise in that field also.
Well, we definitely thank you for doing that, especially working in the hospital right now with everything going on.
Yeah, I see it first and foremost, man. I tell people, you know, it's crazy, man. You know, some people, and that's I guess a personal choice. Some people say wear the mask, some people say don't wear the mask, and I guess that's your personal choice. Me personally, I work in a hospital. Sometimes I see what it is. Until they can figure this out, sometimes I'm going to wear my mask sometimes. You know what I'm saying? It's just, you know, it's twofold. It's very uncomfortable. It's hard for me to work in, you know, but then when I have to pass by that floor in the hospital and I see certain things, regardless of the conspiracy theories, people are still dying from something. I mean, you know, underlying situations, I don't know, man. It's, you know, like I said, I don't have the answer right now. You understand? So each day I'm forming new answers and answering things myself, but I'm seeing it firsthand. I would tell people, you know, you take what people is talking, but you got to see it firsthand and do firsthand, because if not, your mind is not going to rest. You understand? So you have to actually undertake and partake and see it firsthand, do the knowledge to it, and like I said, and you have to take the step for yourself.
Yes, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for being here for us. We appreciate
no question.
For being an essential artist, as well as taking care of the hospital scene and your family. Enjoy the birth of your daughter, which is going to be amazing next month. And yeah, thank you so much for everything.
Well, brother, thank you. Appreciate it. As far as me, like personally meeting you, you've always looked out, which, you know, is more than I can say for people I've known for years. So, you know what I mean?
Them,
I appreciate that. I appreciate you, man. And again, congratulations on, you know, your daughter coming into the world when she does. You know, man, like, hope everything's all good on that front, which of course it will be. And
yes, sir.
Man, best of luck to you, man.
Peace. Appreciate it.